Welcome to the Sherry Lord Talk Show. And we have a very special guest. It's Kathleen Sherman. Her topic today is how to find your soul's purpose and power. We just love her. And we're going to put her information on the bottom. And our talk show is to give people a platform who's an author, who's inspirational, who's spiritual, with healthy foods. And you can always go to www.sherrylord.com if you want to be a guest on the show. The instructions are there. But we just want to say welcome, Kathleen. We're so happy to have you. But I want to say a little bit about you because you have you have done a lot for me from the light conscious. You have done the Zoom interviews and everything, but it's really nice to give you a highlight too because you're such a beautiful soul. You have helped so many thousands of people in your life from your heart, your passion, and she's going to talk about her new book release. Kathleen Sherman is a shamanic medical intuitive, psychic medium, angel channel, Reiki master, and author. Kathleen is available for individual or group readings and healing sessions in person or through phone and Zoom. Find her at www.kathleenshermanhealing.net. The information will be scrolling on the bottom of our screen, and she's going to talk about how to contact her as well. But you can also go to our website, www.sherrylord.com/podcast. And we have her profile. You can just click a link and go right to her site. So welcome, Kathleen. Woohoo! We're so happy to have you.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so honored. And it's been and honestly, I wouldn't have written the first book about you. You wanted me to write it.
Exciting. And you have your new book release. Can you show everybody your new book release? Because people are going to want to purchase that. Kathleen's amazing. She's an amazing author. She's very deep on her spiritual path, and she's a beautiful channel. Look at that. You're not crazy. What's underneath that? You're not crazy.
You're simply a psychic medium. So this is my second book. My first book is You're Not Crazy, You're Simply Divine, a guide to help you step into your soul's true purpose. And then the second one, so it's basically like what is, how to begin, how to do this work. And actually it's my story, my experiences of what I went through. And then 11 angelic channeled meditations to help you learn how to do that work. And basically what I needed and I didn't have at the time, and I needed help. And then the next one goes into a lot more detail. You're not crazy. You're like medium. So it teaches you how to do divination tools.
Ooh, I like that.
How to clear your energy. And honestly, I've seen a lot of even big named mediums and psychics and things like that. And just lots of psychics in general or energy healers burn out because they don't know how to properly clear their energy. And so I teach a whole bunch of different things than just a normal psychic mediumship book. So it's basically all the things that I learned with all the different modalities that I do doing all the different techniques and tools, shamanism, mediumship, psychic abilities, medical intuitive, which that's the first thing we need to learn is spiritual hygiene. So that's how do you find your soul's true purpose? You figure out how to clear your energy and let go of what you don't need anymore.
Okay. I got that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about today is your topic is how to find your soul's true purpose and power. Can you also elaborate a little bit more about, you talked a lot about you're from your heart when you speak and a lot about how you got where you were and how it's helped people. I mean, can you explain to me how do people find your soul's true purpose and power? Is there any highlights you can share or any things on your own experience?
Absolutely. So what happened is my mother passed in 2014. And after she passed, I went out for a walk, or I was actually running at the time. Now I walk more. And when I went out for that run, I remember feeling really down and really sad and like just broken. And I was really going through what we call the dark night of the soul. It was a really bad time in my life, really hard time, just everything, where I used to be like a pretty happy-go-lucky person, but hard on myself and, tough on myself. And then all of a sudden I heard my mom's voice talking to me, telling me that
Oh,
she was proud of me. And it sounded like a loudspeaker in my head. And at this point I had no idea I had psychic abilities. And so it really took me back, but I knew that it was her. And before that, I'd had a lot of fears about all of this stuff.
okay.
And that helped me to feel more calm. And I knew that it really was my mother. And so one thing led to another with, for me, I had spiritual abilities all my life, but just didn't understand it. And
Mhm.
this is where I was starting to open up. And then all of a sudden, when I was at work, I would see and sense things that I had never sensed before. And I was like, how did you guys, like, does nobody else see this? Like, I don't get it. Where are you guys at? And so in that time, I started spiritually opening up, and I just opened up like a can, like a tin can gets opened up. And so that is what I set out to do. And I literally was physically ill, learned how to heal myself,
Oh,
learning Reiki, learning how to open up,
yes.
and learning about the intuition and psychic abilities, and realizing that it's not scary. It's actually
Mhm.
divine, and that we're all divine, and that I had more power than anything of the dark, and all this cool stuff I didn't know. And it helped me step back into my power, where I
Mm.
literally could see, and a lot of people don't talk about entities or negative things. They like to brush it away. Oh, that's scary, But those are things that are just basically out in the universe, but also kind of help us to find out that we are divine, and that we have all the power in the world if we choose to.
Yeah.
And so where I would hide and close out and go, oh, this is scary, when I was a little kid, so I shut it all down.
Right.
When I learned that I had more power than anything of the dark or anything just in general, I learned that I had power within, which I never knew. So many
Oh,
people don't. Then I stood up and I was like, I went from being a person who was like, oh, I can't deal with this, and closed in,
okay.
to a person who stood up and
Yep.
shone out like a lighthouse. And that's where the first book came in. And I started doing readings, and I learned medical intuition
Yep.
and shamanism, and
Yep.
learned how to do all this cool stuff. And basically just tapped into the abilities that I had always had and just didn't realize, or I shut out. And so, how do you step into your power? It's learning how to go within and find out who you really are, and
Yes.
finding that, that Buddha within, that shining
Mhm.
light from within your heart, that we, and finding your spiritual helpers, your guides, your angels, and they will help you if you ask them to help you, to help you find your inner self, your true authentic self. And when you can start to do things from the heart and not from the head anymore, that's what leads you into a higher dimension. Yeah. And so I went personally for I did a healing for myself, and healed. I was being diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I had chronic pain. I had chronic illnesses. A lot of those things were actually past life um, incidents where I was injured or hurt or killed. I learned how to clear all of those things. So those actually affected me in my physical body and in my
Okay.
psyche. And I learned how to clear those things because I was able to
Oh,
see those things in my mind's eye. And then after I learned how to do that, I just felt free and open.
okay.
And I heard, after I healed myself, I heard took 2 months to heal myself. And after that, then Spirit said, you healed yourself. Now you turn around and you help others do the same thing.
Oh, awesome.
That's what it's all about. It's about us giving back. Me giving back, and that's how you shine your light out in the world. And I think that a lot of people we're going into a huge wave of ascension right now.
Yes.
Tomorrow is
Yes.
the summer solstice, and this is a huge wave that I've been seeing come in, and I haven't talked about it anywhere else. This huge wave is going to help awaken so many more people, and so many more people are going to need to know.
Mhm.
They're going to need this information. And so that's where my first book came out, and is when that came out a year ago, over a year and a half ago now. And so, but that's a great one to help people go, what is going on? Because you feel very disoriented. You go through what we call dark night of the soul, which is a rough time in your life where you feel hopeless. And so that's where it's like you can take the reins back. You aren't out of control. You can take the reins back and learn how to learn how to move in your life and work with the law of attraction and those types of things to help you
Right.
get back in the driver's seat, so to speak. And the universe may throw you for loops here and there. That's going to happen. And we get derailed once in a while, but we get back on track and get back on that train and keep riding. So that's what it's all about. And that's how you step into your purpose. And if you allow your guides and helpers and divine beings of light to assist you and your inner self, your higher self, which is the aspect of you that's in a higher dimension, that's really your ultimate guide and helper. It's like our inner Buddha within, it's like we are an aspect of that light. And that shows you the way. And it's like an internal compass that shows you the yellow brick road ahead that you want to go on. And it's basically like a bright shining light that's beckoning you and saying, this is the way. So that's how you find your inner light, is by going within, by shedding off layers of your old self, by by releasing all of those things that we've been taught in society and maybe from family members that really isn't how energy works. And so that's why we are all kind of up right now and basically coming out of the matrix of what we thought was true. And then you go, wait a minute, where was this all my life? How did I miss this? So we just, what was really cool, and I loved it in this new book, Spirit, because the new book, they're both completely channeled. And hi, Bonnie. And hi, everybody.
Yeah, we want to say hi to Julie and Jennifer Jones and Kathleen Sherman. I'm Kathy Flaska Thorson. I don't know why I'm calling her Sherman, but I'm just thinking of you. So Kathy, thank you. And everyone, Bonnie, and just want to acknowledge everyone. If you have a question, please jot it down while we're talking to Kathleen, because the last 10 minutes, if we have time, we will answer them.
Absolutely.
And so
no, that's okay. So in the new book, they gave me one quote for the entire book. And
really?
It's intuition is the golden ticket to the universe.
Yes.
And that's from my divine team of light. And it's because it's the key that helps you open up all your spiritual tools and what you taught me about, the spiritual toolbox. It's all these gifts and abilities that we've had many different lifetimes and many different experiences. And we know all kinds of this intuitive stuff, but it's like hidden. It's locked up somewhere because we weren't ready for it yet. And so probably similar to the golden keys of Eroth that you do, I'm sure. It's finding your hidden treasures within your own psyche and your own energy field that are like, they show them to me. It's really cool. They show them to me like a video game where you're trying to find the jewels hidden within. There's all kinds of jewels that are hidden within, and we've just got to have the key. And honestly, Bonnie and you helped me open up my locked boxes of my divine aspects of myself that I put away because I didn't know that I never knew. And if you think about it, if sometimes people are even doing this work for their children as well, by just opening and allowing the universe and allowing themselves to open up, they're helping their kids so that their kids don't just shut down like we did.
Yep. Oh, that's a good point to bring up the children, because a lot of people don't talk about the kids, and a lot of these children are awakened. A lot of them are aware in helping the parents to keep it open, because even some of the parents aren't aware. A lot of them are, but not all of them are. They're going to be a good book.
That would be. And the thing is what happens is if those kids don't shut down, and that's what happens a lot of times when we're raising our kids and they tell us something that's off the wall that we don't understand, and people always looked at me like I was weird. I'm going to tell you that. People always feel like you're weird. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Well, I got intuitive hits that they didn't understand. And that's why, intuition is the golden key to the universe, because it's the golden ticket, because we just are getting some information intuitively, which we all get. And honestly, I worked for a hospital for 20 years. That's one of the first things they teach you. Use your intuition if something doesn't feel right and there's an active shooter. You know what I mean? All those types of things. And this is what it's well known, but a lot of people turn away from it because of their belief systems and what they've been taught. But the thing is we're all intuitive, and it's a divine and loving gift that we've all been born with. Yeah. Hello, Beth Perry.
Exactly. Here, Beth is joining us. Beth Perry. Hi, Beth. Thank you for joining us. And Jennifer Jones wrote, I'm helping mine. My youngest is coming into, I don't know what his gifts are really early. That's pretty cool. That's amazing. And Julie wrote something here. We're going to be answering all the questions in about 10 minutes, and we're going to include her as well. But yeah, can I ask, I want to know, because I know a lot of people that are watching us, and you're a beautiful channel and a spiritual teacher. And I know you're already booking for the year. You're doing really good. And your book is getting out there. You're gone to a new platform of sharing your wealth of wisdom and gifts to help others and to connect. But can you share some of the experience some of your clients have had? I mean, can you kind of pick a few things that you can share with us of how you've helped them? And I know there's a lot, but at least a few. I mean, I think it helps others understand what you do, which you are amazing. She's really good. You guys definitely want to get with her. You want a reading with her and take some of her classes, because she's very, very good.
Thank you. So there are a lot of amazing experiences I've had in the 5 years since I've been doing this for a living. And I can tell you there have been, especially because I learned medical intuitive and shamanism and, all of these different things. And I basically just blend them all together. And I help people in so many different ways other than just body issues. I help them to open up and figure out maybe what's underneath. And a lot of times with the medical intuitive part of it, we see psychically inside the body. And what I will see is, like, if they have energetic leakages in their auric field, how they're losing. This is another, aspect of losing your power. When we have arguments or fights with people, we can have like energetic spears, or, even looks like broken glass. Energy is palpable. And when somebody thinks something, it creates itself into energy. Our consciousness makes things happen. And so I can't tell you how many times that I've worked with somebody and I'll say, number one, this is a big one on a lot of people. They don't say what they really need to say. And so the energy in the front of their throat chakra explodes out the back. And then they have a huge gaping explosion out the back of their neck chakra. So they're actually leaking their vital life force energy out the back of their throat chakra. And I had one lady, and she probably will watch this and she'll be like, that's me. But I won't say any names. But when this is fascinating, I basically just taught her how to clear that and bring her energy back safely through filters of light, and ground her energy back and spin her chakras and clear it. So it's like you can just envision it with your mind's eye, use your breath and consciousness to heal anything in your body. And this was a chronic neck problem that she had for many, many years. Literally after probably took 30 seconds to a couple minutes to do that, she had just never had that neck problem again. There have been negative entities that I have cleared off of people just with light. We all have that ability. And I've had people with chronic major back issues that never had another problem again in their life. That just doesn't happen every time, but man, it's amazing how energy is so powerful. And, I think that it's really starting to be more well known. I know a lot of doctors, nurse practitioners who, they're really medical intuitives too. And they're kind of seeing things. So they're starting to open up just like everybody else, because number one, the veils are getting extremely thin all the time. And we're being able to start seeing things through dimensions. So those are a couple of the experiences. And they do want me to throw that in too, that there are people waking up in waves. And this is what's going to happen is I'm seeing this one being the waves of ascension of people spiritually opening up like I did is getting bigger and bigger. And right now we're in the biggest wave of them all and opening up. So if people are feeling confused, unsure, unbalanced, ungrounded, kind of crazy and chaotic, you may be going through that dark night of the soul that was it's just the beginning of your awakening. You'll be okay. And there's lots of books. There's lots of people out there to help you. That's why I've written my books and those kinds of things to help you on your path, because I see a huge wave coming in.
Wow, that is huge. It's a lot. But hey, we have Beth has joined us, but I also we're gonna have questions and answers right now. Is everybody ready? I'm sure they're all watching and listening. There's a lot of people that listen that doesn't say they're a little on the shy side.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people here watching and listening too at the same time. But we have a question. We actually have two from Julie. Julie Moore's right here, and she's from Sarasota. And I'm just going to read what she sent me, and then I'm going to read what she had wrote. So why have I not figured out my life purpose? There are billions of people who know their purpose: artists, dancers, writers, actors, musicians, CEOs, Olympians. Why can't I be one of those who knows and lives it? Why not me? Am I wrong? Is that why? Am I not good enough? Am I too poor? Not pretty enough? Why? I will be asking these. I'm asking these to you because this seems to be important. And she has another one on top of that she had chatted with us. So this is Julie.
Absolutely. Well, I feel, and I think there was another one that asked also, can you have multiple life purposes? And
okay.
Absolutely. And I think that goes hand in hand, because through our life, for me, I had many life purposes. I had a life purpose for a long time of just being a mom, being a good mom. Okay. I worked in a hospital. I was a scheduler. That was very fulfilling to me. And sometimes those things get us to the place of where we need to be, such as I was a scheduler for 16 years in a hospital that taught me how to work with people and how to open up spiritually, which I had no idea. I had no idea at the time. So I was talking to people about their physical problems all that time, and all I did was want to help. So for me, that was the first step on that. And I hold lots of different life purposes, and for that period of time, that was my life purpose. And I felt at that time, which was funny, Spirit had another idea for me. They're like, oh yeah, no, because I was like, oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I have the 401k, I'm nice and comfortable. And then the universe goes, no, you're not. So then and it shifted, and I raised my kids and have a wonderful family. And then, for me, it's like, that's when sometimes you go into the next level and you have to dive in. And then I dove into this, and it was either for me getting, staying sick or learning how to heal myself, because nothing else, the traditional methods and going to the hospital and doctors didn't work for me. So I learned how to do the spiritual stuff and heal myself spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And that's what got me to the next place. So how do you find your soul's true purpose? You do it by finding your joy and following it, getting on that path, getting on that train, or that, in my first book, I talk about it as getting in a boat and rowing down the river, like just letting the universe take you and starting to learn how to work with, meet your guides and your higher self, and learn how to go within to find that inner voice that is your higher self, that helps get you on your path. Because there's lots of different pathways that you could go, but what you need to do is get back on track to get to your highest timeline, which is the version of your life that you'd like to move forward and have your best life, basically, and what you came here for.
Oh, also, thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Learning how to work and talk with your higher self, communication with yourself, your higher self, aka inner voice in your heart, and learning how to go inside to find that, which it takes some work to go in to find a way to meditate, or go into either a walking meditation. For me, sitting and quietly meditating is kind of boring. I'm too busy in my head. So a lot of times going out for a walk, getting out in nature, connecting with a tree, which sounds weird. Connecting with nature, just putting your hand on it will help give you answers. It's from source, from the divine. So it's all a part of everything that's interwebbed within the universe. So that's another way of finding. You have to learn how to let things go and let things shed, so that you can find your true self inside.
Thank you. And there's another question here, and it is from Kathy Thorsten. Can the soul have multiple purposes? And how does one know when they have achieved their soul's true purpose?
And so I think I just answered the first part of that. Definitely,
Yes, you did. You did mention it.
And I think that we hold many different things. Like I know, and Sherry, we were talking about that. Like we have done a certain thing well, and I feel like the universe is shifting us into a different level. And
Yep.
so yeah, so you will do your life's purpose. When you find it, you'll know you're on track because it feels right. It feels like you're on track. And you know it. You can feel it in your heart. You just think, oh, I just know I'm supposed to do this, and it feels good when you do it. So that gets you into that space, and then eventually you will level up over and over as you move forward. You may get kicked in the butt a little bit here and there. I'm gonna be honest, we all do. And then we call that shadow work, and there's lots of shadow work to do, finding ways to do that, letting go of things that may come up from current life or past lifetime, and then moving forward into your new one. And you'll be guided. You'll just know. It'll be basically, if you don't get this ding, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I have to do this. For example, COVID hit. When COVID hit, I was quitting my job. I finally quit my job. It took me a while. And all of a sudden I was out in my hot tub, and I heard, get up, get out of the hot tub, go in your healing room and write your classes out. And I'm like, what classes? And they're like, your classes you're going to teach. And I'm like, I'm going to teach classes. Yeah. And it's like, what am I teaching on? And I heard everything you do. So guess what? That's what the books are. So I started doing things one at a time, right? So they gave me, like, write out the outline. You're going to start doing this. Put it out there. Put it up. Maybe build a website. Then the next thing is, I'm teaching classes. And then a couple years later, a year later, they say, now start writing a book. And Sherry told me that too. And so basically the universe will make it happen. Your guides, angels, helpers will make it happen. So like I was supposed to go and do readings for a whole weekend, and somebody got sick. And I said, well, it's going around that I didn't want to, go in and do readings after. And so I stayed home, and I was like, well, everything just fell apart. Everybody canceled that was scheduled with me, most people. And I heard, sit down and write the book. It's time. So Spirit cleared my, it's a really neat experience, because I was like, how can you even doubt that I'm supposed to do this? And so Spirit would clear my schedule and say, sit down and write. And I have to tell you, when you're doing what you love, you feel like you're on top of the world. That's when you know you have found your soul's true purpose. You feel like a little firework inside your heart. You feel like, oh my God. And writing, to me, I felt like I was literally on top of the world, because it was just so expansive and so fun and joyful. I didn't feel like I was working. And that's another telltale sign that you have found your soul's purpose. Yeah.
We have a couple more questions. Beth Perry, she has a question. How can we tell if we have an entity attached? How does somebody know? What is the signs?
Great question. So spiritual entities, there are angels and there are negative entities. And I won't go into too much detail about that, but there are things in the universe that's some of the things that I started seeing when I started spiritual awakening and didn't understand it. And actually I'd seen them as a kid and didn't understand it and freaked out and closed off. This time I found out that I had more power, because I physically cleared it from my body just by thought and pushing it out. That's not actually the greatest way to do it. But if you feel like all of a sudden your mood changes, you feel really angry, almost suicidal. And actually I've had numerous people that told me that had entities attached that came to me. They will make you want to not go to a healer that could clear that for them. I had one lady that told me she wanted to go jump in the lake. It was telling her to, hearing things that you've never heard, negative things talking to you or in your mind. That is a telltale sign that you have a spiritual entity. You can call on Archangel Michael to help you, Yeshua, but it's probably a good thing to get with somebody like me or somebody that helps clear those types of things. And I work with the angels, and myself, we all have the power to clear these things. You can say, if you are not of the light, you are not allowed to be in my space, period. And take a breath and just release it out. So it can be, your mood may change. You may feel really angry and irritable. And sometimes it can be some other things. But most of the time, if you hear things in your head and mind, and I've actually had this in the past myself, where I thought, oh, I should just, kill myself or whatever. And that is actually what happened when I had a very negative entity attach into my body when it was at a job I worked at the location. And I was in a low vibration. So what happens is we're opened up when we're angry, mad, in a really low vibration. That was when my mother had just passed, and I was very sad and very, having a really hard time. And so it tears rips and holes in your auric field, and those things can enter much, much more easily. And it's actually energy. If you are at a low vibration yourself, you are basically, it's an attractant to something of a more negative entity. So the other things you can do is use violet flame, white light, white flame to clear your energy field. Just envision it, and just envision, it being throughout your whole auric field. That'll help clear any of those types of things too. So you may see somebody that that all of a sudden takes on the persona of somebody else. There are human entities that can attach, human spirits that can attach to people as well. So sometimes going to somebody that has a little bit of knowledge is actually a really good thing to help you if you can't seem to clear those things yourself.
Well, thank you, Kathleen. Those are amazing. I'm sure everyone watching will understand it better now and not fear it so much, and really get a better understanding what's happening. We want to say thank you to Karen Sparks-Sperry for joining us. And Jennifer Jones has a kind of a question, but I'm going to read what she has. So I've noticed that the trees are part of my life in drawings, artwork, and in real life. Is there a particular reason for that?
Trees are the epitome of source. They are the energy that's we can be connected to, and they help give us answers, and they're part of nature. And those the trees, the plants, all of those things, and going into nature is how you connect back with the interwebbing of the energy of Mother Earth, which is Mother Earth is actually a divine mother, part of source, God. And so they will speak to you. The trees will speak to you and talk to you and communicate with you and help you clear your energy. And it helps you to, I'm going to try and explain this. You breathe in and out, and you connect with all those things, and your breath connects in with the spiritual antenna of all of those things. So we're all interconnected into this beautiful web that goes throughout. It's like an invisible, but it's not invisible. If you close your eyes and if you envision it, you can see that interlacing and web of energy that goes between everything. And so the trees give you sustenance energetically and physically. They give you, nourishment with your breath. And so we're interconnected with all living things. And so those trees are giving you hope and help. And that's where I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. So that interconnectedness, you're feeling into that. One quick little thing is one of the first things that made me really feel like I was crazy was I went out for a walk at that building that I was talking about that I worked at. And I'd go outside and just shake off because I didn't understand what I was feeling there. And this was so funny. I walked outside and there was a beautiful path out there. And it's like the trees. I looked at the trees, and for the first time, I saw the energy within the trees, and it's like some of the leaves were, dancing, going, and then some of them right next to them weren't moving, from wind. And I'm like, I wonder how that works. And then I felt it in my heart, and I could hear the tree going, hello, hello, hello. It's like the leaves were saying, they were waving hello to me, and I actually could feel it within my energy field. And I'm like, wow, I must be really nuts. I'm really, but this is really the universe talking to us in a way, and energetically, that we've been so closed off, we haven't listened to, and we haven't been able to tap into. So the trees are trying to get your attention. They are trying to say, hey, guess what? You're part of us. And they're trying to help us heal and come out of the matrix or the shell we've been under. for so long. The Native Americans and all of the original peoples from all over the world, which could be shaman, they all understood the ebb and flow of life and energy. We've forgotten that. And this is what we're starting to tap back into, is back into that interwebbed, that thing that we can see with it, and we can feel that connection and energy of earth and source. And get ready, because we're opening back up to it more and more as you go.
Absolutely. I just want to say thank you to you, Kathleen, because you are just amazing and inspirational. And if I can, I'm going to bring her book up real quick so that everybody can kind of see it real fast. I want to bring it up. We're not going to see us so much when I do this, but I want you to get her 2 books. It's coming on right now. There you go. Whoops. Bring her back up.
Yeah. So the first one, that Crazy or Simply Fine, is they're both on Amazon. You can go to my website, KathleenShermanHealing.net, and there are links to both of them. Just go to and you can purchase both of them off of Amazon. The first one, You're Not Crazy or Simply Divine, is the stories of my experiences, which are wild and crazy, and tell you about all of these things that a little, in more detail that I was talking about, and then teach you, if you have the similar experiences, what to do. And about the law of attraction and how to get started in all of this. And this is what a lot of people are going to actually want right now that are going through the dark night of the soul, to help you take back power in your life. And then the second book, You're Not Crazy, You're Simply a Psychic Medium. This is all of how to channel spirit, how to do it safely, how to clear your energy in much deeper ways. It goes into much more detail. It talks about dimensions, spiritual dimensions, how to meet every single guide. It goes into a great amount of detail to help you as a very well-rounded psychic mediumship and energy, how to heal your energy and run your energy, how to stay safe doing this work, and how to use spiritual tools like a pendulum safely, and oracle cards and things like that. So it teaches you a wide variety of basically how to really get started and how to get going on your spiritual practice.
Awesome. You are so inspirational, and you have a wealth of wisdom and knowledge, and helping others to connect with their own power and to empower themselves. We definitely will be having Kathleen back on in the near future. We just love her. And what I want to say is thank you again, and all who are watching and all who are getting a wealth of knowledge, please go to www.sherrylord.com//podcast, and you can see Kathleen's information if you couldn't catch it on the scroll going down. And you can also go, if you captured her when she was talking. If not, simply go to her profile on our podcast page, and you can simply click right on to her. That easy. There's a link there to her site where you can get a hold of her. And we just want to say that we're so blessed to have you, and that we ask all be blessed who are watching as well, and help us share this. Please help us get this out so that we can help more people. And we're just thankful to have you. And thank you again, Kathleen, and thanking all who joined us. So they want to grow and evolve and have knowledge and empower themselves too. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. For you bringing me on. I appreciate it so much. And thank you for being my teacher.
Oh, thank you. And we're just going to say, we'll see you next Tuesday, every Tuesday at 10 a.m., the Sherry Lord Talk Show. Come and see who we have as our guests. We have people amazing, just like Kathleen. Namaste to all, and have a blessed life.
Namaste.